Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's show. Just a general Newcastle United news show with a bit chit-chat here and there. A little bit of news, and we'll just have a discussion, of course, about the upcoming transfer window, who we think should leave, who maybe should stay, etc. But if you do enjoy the show, as usual, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe. If you are new to the channel, well on our way now to 34,000 subscribers. And of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways. First of all is by membership, which is the join button just underneath the three of us. And of course, super chats are available, and that's the $ underneath the live chat. And that will guarantee your comment to be read out live on the show. And of course, a big shout out to our channel sponsors, Mamaroo Records, based in Whitley Bay. Please go and check them out. They're right in the center of the town. Your vinyl music, merchandise, all sorts of goodies. And just mention to Steve that you're a TTR viewer, and he will do you a very good deal, I am sure. If you can't get to the shop itself, please do visit them online. It's pinned at the top of the description. They also do gift cards, etc., and some cracking stuff. So just in time for Christmas, get yourself to Mamaroo Records. Good evening, colleagues.
Good evening, and good evening to all you beautiful people out there in Viewerland, patronisingly.
Hi. Hi from me too.
Billy, that was a little
loaded.
A little on the scary front there. What was that all about?
Divinus.
Okay.
Just crept up on me and decided to say it, I don't know.
It took over you, didn't it?
Genuinely terrifying. It was like you were possessed. Never mind. Anyway, we'll start the show with some very good news, guys, because it's been announced that Sven Botman will make his return to action on the 16th of December, playing for the under-21s against Chelsea under-21s. Well ahead of schedule, 16th of December. That is good news, Sam.
Oh my God, it's class. Especially after the weekend, right? I think everybody's feeling it. And just to, know that he's going to be back sooner than expected is fantastic news. Goes to show his type of physicality, what he's like. He's obviously been working really hard with the physio team and in training as well. So it's just fantastic news. And boy, did we need to hear it after this weekend. I mean, obviously, Billy, this is just the first step to his recovery, but the fact that he's going to take part in a match, I guess it's a proper match, isn't it? I mean, it's under 21s, but it's not
competitive,
a competitive game, so it would be quite interesting. But it comes at a time, like Sam says, boy, after the weekend we've just had, to see Sven making a return on his road to fitness again, it's fantastic news.
Well, the one position we're desperate for at the minute is a half-decent centre-back, and Sven Botman is more than that. He's a very decent centre-back. He'll probably get an hour against Chelsea in 21s and then build up from there. I expect we'll see him by the time of the third round of the Cup. Maybe an hour there and then full throttle forwards for regular football.
The big question is, who does he replace? Because obviously, instantly you'd think, well, he's left-sided, so obviously the one is Dan Burn. But the way Fabian Schär's performed lately, Sam, you've got to think, like, is it, or will he go back to the old double act of Botman and Schär because they performed so well? Does it really matter? Is that going to spark Schär into life, or I don't know anymore. I really don't.
Well, I really hope so. And I think this probably speaks to this attitude piece about, do people need a rocket up their arse and someone right behind them on the bench to really play out the skin for the badge? I think we've seen it throughout the season in plays with, different positions, not just the back four that we've got as well. I honestly don't care. Just get him in the team, put him anywhere, just get him in there. Like for me, Ben's great. He's a tool in the box. But we need to strengthen in this transfer window, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But as soon as he gets back in the side, the better. We've spoke about, Miley getting back into that under 21 side as well for some game time. But we sort of have seen this in the past as well. How long will it take to actually get him on the bench and then get a sub and then get a start. We could be
I know.
we could be longer off than we're actually thinking.
I mean,
but
a lot of
that he's
people
back playing.
There's a few putting in the chat. Are we not risking it, putting him in the under 21s? Hope he doesn't get injured, guys.
He's got to play at some time.
He's got to play, and if he gets injured, he gets injured. But he's got to play. We can't have a guy like Sven Botman. What we're going to do, just sit him on the bench and say, oh, we better not put him on in case he gets injured. No, we've got to play him. And as soon as he's fully fit, he's got to come straight back into that side. He's got to come straight back into the first 11, no matter what. Yeah, maybe it's a couple of sub appearances, of course. However, Jesus Christ, we need Botman right in the middle of it. Stevie B says, my Toon Top came this morning and fits great. Many thanks, Paul. Stevie was one of the winners, of course, of one of the prizes. I'm going to give some out tonight as well.
Good stuff. Talking about Botman, what I'm worried about is when he does come back, does he then put down Burn back to left back?
Well, if he does, then that's a disgrace.
Tell me you'd be surprised if he did it, because I don't think you would be.
I don't think I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be disappoised, Billy. I'd be disappointed. To be honest, I really would. And you've got to take into consideration here how well Lewis Hall has done.
Oh, now,
there's been some comments about Lewis Hall's mobility and Lewis Hall's pace. Well, Christ, if he puts Dan Burn there, then there's knee way. Not the way. I think Lewis Hall has deservedly made that position his own now, and he should not be out of the team for anybody. Now, I know, he likes Dan Burn. That's fair enough. He's done well. However, we cannot move Lewis Hall. No way in hell. I mean, Sam,
if he did do that, would that then shift you to my side of the fence, so to speak?
Just because he moves Lewis Hall, probably not. But it depends on results, Billy. It's all results based now and performance.
Stop it, Paul.
No, I'm serious. If he. Look, if we have any more performances like we did against Brentford in the next few days, or games, sorry, there's questions going to be asked now whether he goes us.
Paul, he doesn't learn, and he did it. How many times did he do it last season when we thought he's not going to put Burnley left back again?
Yeah,
and he did.
But that was when he was bringing Lewis Hall on. That was when he was working with Lewis Hall. It's different now. It's very different now.
We'd hope it'd be different now.
Sam, what do you think? Would he do it?
I wouldn't put anything past him.
Exactly. That's my.
And sometimes it's got us all scratching our heads, like, what on earth is that decision about? Trust the manager, trust the process, and all that. But sometimes it's beggars bloody belief, and I'm looking at the starting 11 sometimes, the sub choices sometimes. So if we start seeing that again, I think that'll just be the nail in the casket. And
I think if he did that, Sam, it would be a nail in his coffin, no doubt about it for me, because he's wasting a fantastic player in Lewis Hall, who he spent a lot of time bringing on and working with last season. And he took a lot of criticism for not playing Lewis Hall last season. He's playing him this season because he thinks he's ready, and he looks like he's ready. He's in the England squad. He's made his England debut. He's fine. He's fine at left back.
He's still developing as well, which is
exactly. But we don't need to change at left back. That is not the position that we need to change. We are fine at left back.
The reason why I think he'd do it is the substitution he made on Saturday afternoon, very late.
That is a worry. Because he took Lewis Hall off, of course, instead of Livramento, didn't he? So that is a worry. But to replace him with Dan Burn, I mean, oh dear, that would
Dan Burn.
Yeah, I mean, Sam, what side of the fence are you on now? Seeing as we didn't get to ask you last night, but I don't know whether you saw the results of our poll, which were very interesting. Well, you did see it.
I didn't. Tell me.
Well,
tell me the story.
What was it? 44 out, Billy? Was that
44 out, 22 on the fence, 31 in.
Yeah.
Okay. I am on a fence, which has just been in the hurricane that we've all recently experienced. It has crashed well over onto the Eddie Howe outside. I think for me...
hang on 2 seconds, Sam. I've just seen this digital painting with Mark on another channel. It was 80% Howe in. Yes, that was NUFC Matters fan forum earlier on. However, we had nearly 1,100 votes. There was less than 200 votes on there. So can you balance it? I don't know. 1,000 votes to just under 200. Yes, there was a lot of Eddie Howe in on there. And listen, that's people's opinion. Absolutely. And I'm still Howe in. But, we had a lot of people watching our review, and that's when we put it up. And, we got a lot of votes on it. So we can only go off the votes off here. But it is interesting looking at the votes on other channels, because various people watch other channels and have different opinions to this one. So it's each to their own. I'm not going to look at somebody and say, just because they want Eddie Howe out, I'm going to criticize them, as long as they back that reason up with a good explanation as to why they want to do that. So,
but you know what? Here's an interesting thing for me. If Eddie didn't have the personal qualities that he does, because he's very likable, he speaks very well, he's very eloquent, he keeps his cards close to his chest, which is good for some reasons, bad for some others as well. We can't forget the history, what he's done for us as well, bringing us out from relegation, Champions League, all of that lovely stuff, the start of a project as well. So for me, there's an element of probably a little bit of bias towards Eddie for those reasons, and because he's generally a nice guy. Now, if we took the performance that we had and put it in the persona of a Ten Hag, I'm curious to know what those results would look like. I think the personality is playing a lot to do with people's Eddie in, Eddie out right now, because I don't think you would have given Ten Hag the same type of grace as we're giving Eddie, personally.
Well, we've had 2 wins in 11. Now, if that was Steve Bruce,
that'd be fantastic for him.
Bravo! Get in, mate.
Absolutely, maybe so.
You.
Yeah, you've got a point there, Billy. But if it was Steve Bruce 2 wins in 11, then I think that the poll would be very different as to sacking the manager. We know that, and Eddie's earned this for me. And I know we keep having this conversation numerous times about money in the bank. I don't subscribe to that, but what I do subscribe to is that I believe that he can turn this around. I still believe he can, but that belief is wavering. Okay, but I believe he can turn it around. I still believe in Eddie Howe, and I want Eddie Howe to win something with us, because
I would love that.
I would never. Again, football is in the here and now. We can't keep looking to the past. So if Eddie was sacked tomorrow, I'd say, wow, thank you for everything you've done, Eddie Howe, because you've turned this club around from an awful state it was in when obviously the takeover, and then when Eddie came to the club. He's given us Champions League football. He's given us a cup final. You can never take that away from him. So I would, I'd still say that he'd done a fantastic job, even though he'd lose his job. However, I'm hopeful he can turn it around. But again, that hope is very much shaking around at the minute. But I guess what we were talking about, and a lot of people have mentioned, Sam, is the attitude of the players as well. We can't not look at the players, because Alan Shearer, club legend, made a fantastic point. In fact, let's play that again, shall we? This is what Alan Shearer said on Match of the Day.
I don't like the attitude of several of the Newcastle players. You can't just turn up in the big home games. They drew with Liverpool, they drew with City, they beat Spurs, they beat Chelsea, they beat Arsenal. This is worrying, because 2 years ago we were praising Newcastle all the time for their energy, for their closing down, for their pressing. There's none of it. That's not good enough. It's not acceptable. From a Newcastle point of view, defensively, they're all over the place. And it worries me, because I look at them and I look at they're lacking the energy that we so used to seeing a year or two ago.
So what did you think of that, Sam? Because he was pretty brutal.
Yeah, but bang on. I don't think anybody could disagree with him. And I don't think he wasn't too disrespectful. Oh, hold on. Exeter City have just pulled Sunderland in the next round of the Women's Cup. Right, okay. We'll take that.
James,
sorry. We are ball 17 for the lasses, people. I am multitasking.
What are you watching on?
I do apologise. I've got it on it's the Adobe FA Cup YouTube channel.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Sam will let us know straight away.
I will.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Of course, you need to keep your eye on it.
Yeah, I don't think he was disrespectful. I'd be intrigued to know which players he spied with the bad attitudes. I think we've all discussed it and talked about it when the heads go down. We've seen it throughout the season, but it seems to be like a catching disease. I thought the first half of the game, by the sounds of it, I couldn't watch it. Listening to your commentary, obviously, it sounded like we weren't too bad. We were obviously getting hit. They were scoring, but we were coming back from that. And that's great. That's not a heads down performance. And then shortly into the second half, just fell to pieces. But defensively throughout, though, we had problems. So we seem to be turning the volume up on the goals, but actually we're just letting them out the other side. It's like a leaky bucket.
Our resident Nottingham Forest fan is in the chat. Let's all laugh at Man United. Hope you're all well. Indeed. I mean, they are all over the place right now. But to be fair, if you look at that first half performance, you would think, yeah, Newcastle United, really good side, and praise them for coming back twice. Going in front. No, we came back twice. What am I talking about? So you got to praise them for that. But people that then shouting at Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's got nothing to do with Harvey Barnes' disgraceful pass. Eddie Howe has nothing to do with that third goal when a simple goalkeeper free kick floats over everybody's head. And the only player to keep an eye on the ball was Collins of Brentford to tap it in the corner. It was awful defending, and too many times this has happened. But then you have to look at the manager for, is he ruthless enough with the players to say, right, Cher, you're playing absolutely shite, mate. You're not doing it for us. You sit yourself out of this one. We'll put Lloyd Kelly in. I don't give him monkey's ass if they're both left-footed, by the way. I don't see a point. Centre backs doesn't matter for me.
I agree.
So, take him out the firing line for a bit. Identify that he's not playing well. But that's the problem that we've seen with Eddie over and over again, is that he keeps doing this. He keeps putting players in who are bang out of form. You look at the goalkeeper sometimes, Nick Pope. Eddie can't be responsible for Nick Pope's performances. And I'm starting to worry about our goalkeeper because I don't think he's good enough.
I don't think he's vocal enough. I don't think he's
definitely not vocal enough, Billy.
He's not got the shithousery of a Pickford, for instance.
He's a fantastic shot stopper.
He is good at that. But
there's so much more to goalkeeping, Billy, isn't there?
I agree. I'm not sure it's actually being out of form, because Fabian Schär was fine against Liverpool.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is happening is because we're not scoring the goals, or we weren't scoring the goals, 2 shots in 2 games. I think they've concentrated on attacking and kind of neglected the defending part of the game. They don't seem to be able to do both at one game, do they? Which is concerning.
Well, I honestly think, Ed, with Fabian Schär, it's an attitude thing. The body language, for one, when he makes these lazy passes and he just looks good, and then he just does not look bothered. And that's the kind of thing we've seen from Fabian Schär for quite some time. But then you look at your goalkeeper. There's no communication. We were talking about Dubravka's communication. There's none there from Nick Pope at the minute. Gareth Bascom, who's been a member for 23 months now on the channel.
Oh, we've got a home tie. We've got a home tie for the Lasses people. Kingston
Who is it against?
Man United.
Ball number 22. Nottingham Forest or Burnley. Ooh.
Oh, so there you go. Nottingham Forest or Burnley for the Lasses.
Tomorrow, so 8 o'clock.
Yep.
People.
They'll discuss that on the War Lasses show with Lady Sam and Aaron tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Don't miss it. Thanks, Gareth. I applaud his work ethic. Do you think Eddie Howe is too obsessed, though? You need some downtime yourself. Obsessions can be quite unhealthy. Well, it's an interesting point.
If players have got attitude problems, why are they still playing?
But is that not, we're talking about, well, this isn't Eddie's fault, and it's not Eddie's fault that, somebody had a bad pass or something. But there are things that Eddie needs to manage and take accountability for. The attitude, the motivation of his players, the training that's taken place. We've been screaming out for a set piece coach for a long time now. So I think there is elements of it that can be attributed to Eddie Howe.
John Cook, thank you for your super chat, buddy. Brentford Cup game is crucial for Eddie. If we lose, I think he will be gone. It's a huge game. But so is the Leicester one on Saturday.
And that's why we'll win it, the Brentford Cup game. That's why we'll win it. It's a huge game under the lights in James's Park.
Yeah. It's
players
very
get up for that.
different attitude. Yeah. It's about attitude and concentration. They can't be asked. That is how it looked on Saturday. And that's what worried me, is when Brentford got that third goal. And I think you've mentioned this in prior shows, Billy. You look at the body language of the players and they just thought, can't be asked to come back again. You know, we've done the hard work and came back twice. And then they give away a goal like that. And it's just like, well, what's the point? And that's not what we want to see. You know, we want to see an attitude of what we did against Liverpool. When we went behind against Liverpool, we came back.
Yeah, but the difference then was...
But it was a very different game.
Eddie Howe didn't change the balance of the side, did he? What he did on Saturday when we went 3-2 down and basically made us awful. You know, Harvey Barnes on the right-hand side instead of Jacob Murphy, who was causing all kinds of trouble. Yeah, it just didn't work, and it was never going to work because it hasn't worked before. And it's a sign of insanity, keep doing the same things over and over again and expecting a better result. For me...
I mean, yeah, this is a good point from Claire. Toon Army apparently had bad cramp after the Liverpool game and days after. All of our players are so weak. Salah's in his 30s playing 2 games a week.
Toon Army probably wouldn't have had cramp in his leg had he been playing the previous 2 or 3 weeks when he wasn't playing.
Yeah, it's lack of games for Toon Army. Anthony Gordon's probably, you know, you look at all the football he's played over the last 3 years, you'd probably say he's done too much. But you've got a point. You've got a point. You know, Salah... I mean, Salah played against us, and then he played again at the weekend.
He didn't play the weekend; they were off.
Oh, sorry, it got called off. What am I? But yeah, he played the Man City game, didn't he? And then played straight against us. Stephen says,
and played Real Madrid on the previous Wednesday, so 3 games in a week, no problem for him.
Blatantly in a mood, Paul Billy. Liverpool was because he could be bothered. Yeah, he was in a mood. You could tell. He just wasn't up for it. And he wasn't the only one. There were some players that took completely down tools in that second half, because that period of 20 minutes between Brentford's third goal and maybe the 70th minute, they were all over us. I mean, they literally could have put another 2-3 goals past us. It was dreadful. John says, Cher's been shit all season. Another player Eddie is too loyal to. Pedro says, we let the bin dip to snap up the best and upcoming goalkeeper up for Howe's loyalty for Pope. That's why he went and got 3 reserve keepers.
If we were ever in for my Majesty for leaving here, there's nothing official that we were.
Yeah, I think we were, though. I mean, we were definitely sniffing. But whether we made an official approach or not is well, it's a moot point anyways. We know where he's gone. Nick Thornton, thank you for your super chat. Is it Eddie's fault when there are no consequences for poor performances? Certain players will always play. Nick, it's a very good point. And that's what I think lets Eddie down sometimes. It is ruthless. He's not ruthless enough with some of the players. Now, listen, this is from an outsider looking in. We don't see what goes on in the dressing room or on the training field or behind closed doors in Eddie's office. It may well be very, very different. All we can see is what goes on that pitch. And if you ask me, he talks about players in press conferences coming into the side and having to play well to stay there, but he doesn't do the opposite when players are poor, and he doesn't leave them out the next game. He still puts them in. Now, isn't that a little hypocritical? Saying to the likes of Harvey Barnes, right, Harvey, you've got to come in, but you have to play well or you lose your place. But for the likes of Cher, Byrne, whoever it may be, despite their performances, they still get in, game out. There's got to be something wrong about that.
And again, it's like, do we have the quality depth of squad to have somebody else breathing down those players' necks who maybe are dipping their heads and aren't performing properly? I don't think we do. I think there is a point, and I do want to be fair where I can be to Eddie. You know, there's not much that we can do to actually get these players fired up too much, because we don't have players breathing down the neck saying, Howie, put me in, let me show you what I can do, and I'll earn my place and I'll keep my place.
Mm-hmm. It's a strange one. Because, you know, the likes of Barnes, etc., have got a point to bang on the manager's door and say, right, Eddie, you're telling me and you're telling the media that players that come into the side, you know, they've got to perform. And if they perform, then they'll get a run in the side. But that's not really true, because there's so many players not doing it, and you're putting them back in the side the next week. Some of the players may be put out by that.
I mean, if Toon Army had that bad of an issue with cramp, what was he doing on the bench? Why did he come on after an hour? Why did he play the first hour?
Well, look, you look at Joe Linton, Billy. He clearly wasn't fit.
Oh, absolutely
and I've seen other channels mention this as well.
And hasn't been for 2 games.
He just wasn't fit.
Since that West Ham game where he did his shoulder, he hasn't been the same way, was he?
No, he hasn't, because we spoke about that last night, Sam, and the fact that the way Joe Linton's game is played is very physical. So if he's got a shoulder problem, which he clearly has, because he went down about 4 times in the first half, he's clearly got a problem. You're taking away from his game, and that's not Joe Linton's fault.
And I think for me, the scary thing is if we cast our minds back, and I know I don't want to kick anybody's PTSD off a bit, but the injury crisis that we had, we've got Bunsen to look at these things. Yet, we're clearly playing people who are injured currently. Why are we doing that? And especially someone like Joe Linton, like, I would rather take the hit and not risk him for the rest of the season. He's so critical to our midfield, yet we're still playing him in these matches.
Yeah. We've got Rachel, our mod, who's been a member now for 29 months.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Rach. And thank you for all your hard work as a mod as well. Another month gone so quickly. Love you all. Thank you. And Sean with a super chat, get young Alex Murphy in for Fabian Schär. Where is Alex Murphy, by the way? Pre-season, Bill. Was it this pre-season? It was, wasn't it?
One before. That was one before.
Was it?
We went to America.
Yes, it was. He looked awesome, right? Left back and centre back, okay? Better than Byrne did, certainly, looking at centre back and left back. But he's never played him. He's never had an opportunity. And you kind of think, well, what the hell are you putting him in for pre-season for and having a look at him? If you're just going to send him down to the minors again, what's the point?
We haven't seen him since the Japan tour, have we? The Australia All-Stars game was last time we saw Murphy.
Let's not.
And he was dreadful in that, to be fair to him, but he wasn't on his own.
That was the worst.
He couldn't do anything on his own. But league-wise, he almost gave a penalty away last season, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
VAR took it away from that. But Eddie Howe doesn't play the youngsters, does he? Simple as that. Unless he has to. We wouldn't have seen Lewis.
I would love to see Sanusi.
Oh, I agree.
Class. He's really shone at points when we've seen him, when he's been given opportunities. Just give these lads some time on the bench. Just expose them a little bit to the feel and to the pressure of it all. Because tell you what, if we were in that position again, why not give the lads a little bit of time?
I mean, Claire says there, our players run into the ground. They play 1 game a week. Most of the season, they played 1 game a week, and a couple we've played 2. Billy's right. How are these guys? It annoys me. It really does.
Unless we're leaving our best work on the training ground, which is possible. We saw it happen with Leeds and Bielsa. Maybe we do have a massive press in training, but we haven't got it for match days. Maybe that's the goal. I'm just surmising, but it's possible, I guess.
Kane says, remember, Eddie has always said he wants the best teams to have 2 players in every position. That's fine, but with PSR at the minute, we're not going to get that. We're not going to get that for a very long time. But the problem I've got is, it seems to me, I wasn't too unhappy with that team, right, that I saw the other day against Brentford. I wasn't unhappy with it. I understood maybe after the Liverpool game, Gordon, certainly the amount of football he's played. Tonali was a bit strange for me. However, it's the in-game management that we keep talking about and what keeps going wrong, Sam. And the fact that he made some very strange decisions at Brentford again and completely upset the balance by taking Jacob Murphy off instead of taking Barnes off. And Murphy was clearly our best player on Saturday.
Yeah, and I couldn't rack my head around it. Obviously, listening to you, I was in the chat speaking to everybody. Everybody's just scratching their heads while Eddie's scratching his arse and just dipping, putting people in wherever it seems. And it just seems like there's a lack of that tactical game plan, but actually thinking proactively as well. Like if somebody goes off or somebody's looking fatigued, if somebody's injured, who's the person that I'm going to call off the bench for that person? Like who's going to look good against the players that I've got on the pitch? Because things change. I just don't think he's agile enough currently right now. I would love to see him turn it around because I think he's a fantastic person. I would love to see him with some success for this club. But these are just lessons that we just don't seem to be taking on board and applying to the next match.
I mean, look, for me, and I think Mick makes a point here, more of the under-21 should be training with the first team squad. I agree with that, but also what I think is the players coming back from injuries should play a couple of games with the under-21s before they come back to the first team. Do you remember when we used to have a reserve side, Billy, all those many moons ago?
Yeah.
You know, players coming back from injury, they used to go into the reserves for a couple of games just to get up to match speed. Sometimes, you know, we're not seeing that with everybody. Yes, Sven Botman's doing it. Kieran Trippier did it, but we don't see it for every injury. Now, don't see why not. You know, give them a couple of games with the under-21s and then see how they go from there. But we're not seeing that.
The problem is as well, there's been a lot of investment into the younger setup as well, and Eddie Howe's had kind of input into that because it's been while he's been in charge. So whether these players that we've bought, the Murphys, there's other ones as well. I can't think of the names now. There's
Alfie Harrison.
Alfie Harrison's another one. There's 4 or 5, 6 of them. We just never see them.
Well, apparently Alfie Harrison has regressed massively. He can't even get a start for the youngsters now. Never mind anything else. He's very much on the bench now. What does that say? Where's the coaching in the academy here? What's going on? You know, why aren't these players coming through? And that has to be a question asked. I know Eddie's very much sort of on the fence of I don't want to throw the youngsters in, but the youngsters aren't performing.
But then last season, conversely, we had players on the bench who were being released at the end of the season.
That just mental.
None of it makes sense, does it? Let's be honest.
No, it doesn't. Liam, thank you for your super chat. Does Eddie get sacked if we lose to Leicester? I don't think he does.
Well, it puts us in a relegation.
It depends on the performance, really. I mean, let's wait and see how we perform. You know, it's a 3:00 Saturday game again, so let's just let's wait and see, shall we? Nick Thornton, thank you for another super chat. Eddie instills chaos with his substitutes. He never helps. Well, what it is, I mean, that's a perfect way of describing it, actually, chaos, because that's what it became. It's sort of throwing everybody on and expecting things to happen when you've got square pegs in round holes again, which clearly hasn't worked for him prior to that. And that's the situation we got into again at Brentford. It's more of, Sam, that he's more reactionary than proactive. You know, he has to wait till something happens before he makes the change.
Do you know what? It's reminding me in this moment when I heard the word chaos. It's like what happens when Miggy comes on. It's just, we're just going to see what happens and throw the kitchen sink at it and wish for some magic and wish for the look like Eddie's becoming the managerial Miggy.
Oh, listen, that was... Chris from Evermore, evening TTR crew, we're buzzing to have hit 9K as a channel and wanted to thank you all for the love and sending so many of our new subs our way. You're a bunch of legends. Chris, it's a pleasure, matey, but listen, your hard work's what got you in a 9K, nobody else. You guys are doing a tremendous job over there, so we're proud to be linked with your channel. Very, very proud of it, actually. So well done, mate, and a fantastic job. And I did my video today based on Chris's earlier video in the day, talking about transfers. I thought Chris spoke brilliantly about who could leave and who might not leave. It was a great video, so I thought I'd do one as well to give my thoughts on it. But we're going to talk about that now because I think, well, we've got a super chat first to read out, and that's from Dean Young. Thank you, Dean. He says we need fresh impetus from youngsters such as Miley. He needs to use more youngsters from the bench. I don't think he's going to be doing that, though. That's the problem.
He doesn't, does he? He absolutely doesn't. And like Alfie Harrison, prime example. This is somebody who was maybe training with the first team prior.
Well, he was training with the Man City first team when he was transferred to Newcastle. So that is a...
Looking for a route to the first team, I believe the statement was that he said when he signed. Ouch.
Yeah.
The thing is, at the end of last season, when Lewis Moyle got injured, he was ahead of Sean Longstaff in the pecking order. We haven't seen him this season.
Yep. But if we turn our attention to the window, because it's a good conversation to have about sort of the players who Newcastle will possibly be looking to sell in January and sell in the following summer. Now, Chris said it on his show. I said it on mine as well. I agree with Chris when he says that the elite players, Newcastle will try and hold on until the summer, I would imagine. To raise a bit of money to bring in transfers in January, you could look at the sales of Miggy, Matt Targett, who is just stealing a living for me. You've also got possibly Callum Wilson on the way out. We don't know that for certain, but he's been linked with moves away. So do you think, Billy, that's where they will turn to in the winter window?
Yes, but I don't think there's enough money in those kind of sales. With the Wilson, Trippier's, targets kind of sales.
Yeah.
If we're going to make big kind of signings in January, I think someone big's going to have to go.
It's kind of like cleaning the dust out from underneath the couch, though, before you get a new sofa, isn't it?
This is right. But, I mean, I think if we sell one of them, I think then you have a problem with maybe the others go. If we're selling Isak, will Bruno want to leave? Because no ambition there.
I mean, Lynn Brown makes a good point there, saying, I've already said it, no one wants to buy our shade.
The one I'll be selling is Harvey Barnes, first and foremost.
Well, yes, but people talk about getting rid of the dead wood and stuff like that, but it's easy for us to say, oh, we should get rid of Miggy, we should get rid of Wilson, we should get rid of him and him and him. But it's clubs wanting to buy them. There's the problem. Who is honestly going to look at Matt Targett right now? The wages he's on. Miggy's on extortionate wages. But these players have to realise that if they do get interest from other clubs and they are serious about still playing first-team football, they're going to have to drop their wages because nobody is going to pay Matt Targett the wages he's on at Newcastle. Not a chance in hell. So it's the players themselves that have got to generate this move as well, because if a club comes in for Matt Targett and Matt Targett sits there and says, I don't care, mate, I'm on this wage here. If you can't pay me that, I'm not coming. We've seen it with players before where they're just happy to get a wage and play in the reserves or go to training every day and sit on the bench on a match day as a substitute.
But then in that case, then you just have to take no fee for it. Simple as that. Simple as that.
But does that not screw us up even more? I know he comes off the wage bill, which is, fair enough. But the problem I've got is Manchester City losing Rodri is massive because we know the sniffing around Bruno. That's been made public numerous times. And if a big enough offer comes in, Sam, for Bruno in January, do Newcastle then say, look, the money we can get, that will generate fantastic funds and keep us well under PSR. We can bring 2 or 3 really, really good players in to bolster this squad. Do they then look at maybe getting rid of Bruno? Because I think he's the one out of all the elite players at the minute that maybe, Isak we can't lose because of our striker situation. But if you look at our midfield, we could bring somebody else in, maybe not as big as Bruno. But Bruno is the name at the minute that I think a lot of people will be saying, well, if there's one of our elite players to go, it might be him.
Is probably the shiniest asset that we have that people will come knocking for, and we will get a great price for him. But we would get a great price for him because he's a phenomenal talent. And even when how many reviews have we done and given fantastic ratings for him? He's pretty damn consistent. My issue with that is in a really great system where we were having transfers in and out, we were buying to sell, we were looking to strengthen our squad, and we need a better financial position, then that would be fine. But I don't want to sell a talent like Bruno to have money for 2 or 3 good / decent players. If you look at what we've signed recently, good / decent players. No, I'd rather keep an extraordinary talent in the midfield.
Well, I'm not sitting here saying I would sell Bruno because I wouldn't. I don't want Bruno to go anywhere, quite honestly. And I don't think many Newcastle fans would. But if we were going to sell, then, I mean, Mark says here, Bruno is replaceable. He'd be phenomenal if he had legs, but he cannot run.
I'll be honest, he'd be the last one I'd sell, Bruno, because he's the one that's committed to the cause. He's the one that really wants to be here. The one, if I had to sell one of the blue chip ones, it'd be Isak. You get the most money for him, and I think he wants higher level of football than what we can offer him.
And he doesn't get the service, which I think he'll put down to others rather than putting it down to his own skill and ability. I think Bruno is a great team player. For me, I totally agree. Bruno doesn't have the pace. He doesn't have the legs. Play him 10 to 15 yards further forward. How much more creativity could we have in that scenario? This is a formation thing, I think, with Bruno and Isak.
Yeah. Nick Thornton, thank you for another super chat. If anyone offers 100 million plus for anyone, we should take it. Cynical
and as well as Bruno, going to Man City, Rodri's not going to be injured forever. He's going to be fit in maybe 4 or 5 months' time. Where does that leave Bruno? I don't think Bruno leaves us.
Try and fit them both in the side. Yeah, good point. Cynical Jim says it's a disgrace selling players when we had 60 million to spank on Gay. Why haven't we got training kit sponsor, training ground sponsor, and stadium naming rights?
Excellent question, Jim.
Absolutely brilliant question. And this is what gets me is all, if you believe all the reports coming in at the minute, which is why, Chris did that video. I did the video today. Rob from Rubenstein did a video the other day on it. This is why we did the video, because it's very confusing when you see all these reports coming out, the journalists around Newcastle United saying that we're going to have to sell to buy. Eddie's even said it in his press conferences as well. So it's not just the journalists. Yet we had £60 million available to buy Mark Gahey. So where is that money?
70 million, if you believe some reports.
I expect that to be in the kitty added to what we wanted to spend in January. We should have 2 kitties built up and then the third one for January. I want to be spending huge in January. I know that we're going to get our pants pulled down over it, but we're not in a position to quibble about costs. This is desperation time. If we want to kick on, we need new signings. People are going to have to stop shoving the dummies and spitting them out, because we need to just get new players in. We need fresh blood in this squad.
Chris Remember makes a good point. The club could kill off all this talk by saying that's not the case, but they stay silent. I mean, I understand that Newcastle United are not going to come out and say, oh, well, we've got £100 million to spend, because that just gives it away how much money we have got to spend. But they could say something different to stop all these rumours about selling players, because all these rumours going around about our better players leaving is making fans uncomfortable. Bruno is a massive fan favourite. Whether you like him or not as a player, that's fine. But he's a massive, massive fan favourite. He's captain of the football club. I think he's a fantastic player, and I don't want Bruno to go. But again, Chris is right what he's saying here. This is why I said it on the video earlier. Bruno is sadly the only asset we could replace with the existing squad. Tonali and Miley could step up to cover what Bruno gives. Losing Isak would cost us 100 million to cover him leaving. And
unless you find someone that's 40 million that's going to do a similar kind of job.
But the problem is, Billy, look at the problems we're having trying to find a striker. We had all summer. We didn't even look at a striker. We brought Will Asula in, but as Eddie said, he's for the future. Where is for the current? They're not easy to find. And certainly if we were to try and find a prolific striker in January, we've got no chance, because like you said, Sam, the prices get inflated beyond belief. So to find a prolific striker in January is going to cost far too much. The prices are way inflated.
Yeah, and let's be fair. Communication, nosedive, dropped off a cliff after Amanda left. Darren Eales, bless him, not in good health anymore, but we've been burnt by his statement saying it's going to be a great window and all this coming up last summer. So there will be being very cautious right now. If we also think about some other revenue that brings in for the likes of Bruno, shirt sales, things like that. And you're right, he is a fan favourite, Billy. He's a huge fan favourite. So again, we would be losing a hell of a lot by, it's not just his qualities we would be losing. Yes, he would be the best one to sell if we want to strengthen, but there's so much more to it. And Pete Silverstone, what's he been doing over the past few months?
Thoughts exactly so.
Like, speak to Adidas deal, okay, so that's signed and in the bag, so we're good for that for a while now. The seller deal, we're good there as well. We've got a whole host of what I would say the lower tier sponsorships that are coming in. That you've got Noon, you've got like the ground around the ground sponsors and things like that, but I really expected more in terms of, the training kits, the training ground as well. We've seen nothing on that. Look at what other clubs are doing. It's very subtle, actually. Even on the head coaches' coats that they've got on, they're sponsored. BetMGM sponsoring Tottenham, for example. We're also sponsored by BetMGM. So where are all these sponsorship deals and what is he doing? I know that he needed more staff. I know that he had better at Arsenal, but what has he been up to recently?
Well, I questioned his kind of work at the end of the summer transfer window, and I did say I expect something to happen soon. We're now going into the January transfer window, and nothing's happened.
It is interesting.
The thing is, if Eddie's not supported, if Eddie's still manager come January and he's not supported, then that says to me that the owners are going to make a managerial change. Because if you're not going to support your manager in the positions that, we as fans can clearly see, so the club obviously know where needs to be improved, and they don't do it, then for me, Eddie's not the man for them. And they're just waiting for possibly a certain someone to become available. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. We have to see movement from the owners in this window. We have to see it. Ian Morgan, thank you for your super chat. We haven't spent anything really for the last 2 transfer windows. We must have some money somewhere. Well, we must have, but there's got to be some sort of kitty there. But is it enough kitty to bring in the players that we need? That is the question.
It should be. It should be enough, because this is going to be 3 transfer windows of money that we should be able to spend here, and that's taken into consideration PSR and what we're allowed to spend. Like we should have enough there to strengthen our squad. We absolutely should have enough there. So it's really, this is make or break for me. The issue that I've got is, one, does Eddie have a release clause? Probably. So that's going to take some money out of the kitty if we need to pay him off to get him out. So that takes away from any player investment that we would have. If you've got any type of football and intelligence, you've got a transfer window coming up. Are you really going to allow a manager that you're willing to let go out of the back door? Are you going to allow him to be a part of your transfer window? Probably not. You're going to want the new manager to make the selections and be involved with Paul Mitchell for who you're going to get in during that January window. So I think a decision will actually be made prior to the January window.
Well, there's a few people asked in the chat, how come Chris Wood played so bad for us and is playing well for Forest? It's the same as Isak. We didn't play to Chris Wood's strengths. Never. He's not an out single striker who can hold the ball up and smash the goals in. Nuno recognises what Chris Wood's strengths are as a centre forward and plays to those strengths. The same as the Sweden manager plays to Isak's strengths. He knows what he's good at, and that's why when Isak goes away on international duty, we're scratching our heads thinking, well, hang on a minute, how is he doing this for them? I know Isak's scoring in a run of games for us, but we still don't play to his strengths at all. So we've got to see that, and I don't understand why we don't see that. And my worry is that January transfer window comes along, and we're sitting 13th, 14th in the Premier League. What sort of elite player is going to sign for Newcastle United? How are we supposed to approach that player and say, we've got this dream of Champions League football. This is what we're going to do. We said this to Bruno and Botman, etc., when they signed, and we're still really in the same position, if not regress this season to bottom half of the table. So how are these big players going to come, Billy?
Well, they're not, are they? Especially if you've got a manager that, from the outside looking in, isn't going to be there much longer. There's bad stuff going around Newcastle United at the minute, and there has been since Stavely left. If I'm perfectly honest, something hasn't been right.
I agree with you on that. I absolutely 100% agree.
And it does filter down, and it's filtered down to the playing staff now. There's something not right there, and I don't know what it is. Maybe the owners need to be a bit more ruthless and vociferous about what's going on, and maybe banging a few heads together. Something needs to happen, because something isn't right, and it hasn't been since Amanda Stavely was forced out, if you like.
Peter Garthwaite sends in the super chat saying, do you think the PIF have lost interest? No. I generally don't think they've lost interest at all. I think they're a little confused right now as to what the hell's going on, considering what the plans were. They'll be frustrated by PSR, because I really do think that the Saudis came in expecting to spend big money on Newcastle United, on big players, and everything just, went to shit on that. And we have to now figure out workarounds and things like that. But player-wise, I do agree with you, Billy. I think it's affected the players, Amanda Stavely leaving. I think she had a real bond with those players. Now, I know things change, and change in football is very regular. There's always something changing. But the announcement came as a big shock. Nobody was expecting Amanda to leave when she did. And I think that's had and Shearer said it when it happened on Match of the Day. It does filter down. Whatever's going on at the top, it does filter down to the dressing room. And sometimes, when you've got somebody like Amanda, who was very much hands-on, wasn't she? She was hands-on on match day. She was hands-on away from match day. She was at the training ground. She was at she went to see the women's team. She went to see the men's team. She was bonding with all the players, and they had that trust in her. And I think when you lose somebody like her from a football club, problems are going to arise trying to redo everything, Sam.
Do you know what? For me, she was the approachable conduit between business and pitch. And that's so important because she kept the project alive, not only for us as fans, but I think for the players as well. She kept it interesting. She kept reminding people of the big picture here. Where's that big picture gone? Because as a fan, I feel like we've lost sight of that. I feel like I've lost sight of what the plans are on the horizon. Stadium progress is going to be slow. That's a huge thing. But she kept things alive. There wasn't radio silence from the club ever, and we saw how important all of the players were to her. Like it had a real family atmosphere about it, and I think that there's just such a disconnect between the boardroom and the pitch right now, and between the pitch and the fans.
Well, there's a lot of comments coming in saying yes, but Amanda was responsible for the PSR debacle. I'm not 100% behind that, by the way, because where are all the financial gurus at the football club to tell Amanda that we can and can't do this? We don't know what went on.
Dan been employed for that.
Yes, he was. And this is the thing. You look at it and you think, well, Amanda she wasn't doing everything at the football club and certainly wasn't running the club's finances. We had people in to deal with that. So who was advising? We have no idea what went on or why we got in the PSR crap that we did. But I think Amanda was made the scapegoat for all of it. When Amanda left, everybody started trying to put two and two together and say, well, she obviously got PSR wrong. It was this, it was that. I don't believe that for a second. Something's gone on there that we're never going to know about, quite honestly. We'll never find out what truly went on with Amanda Stavely. All we know is she's no longer at the club and things really haven't been the same since she left. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. What I'm saying is by things haven't been the same, is obviously there's a lot of change going on in the background at Newcastle United since Amanda's left. And I don't think it's all been rosy and rolling around in the hay, by the way. So I don't know about you guys, but I just think that things are trying to change, but there's been disagreements here and there. It's all filtered down to the dressing room as well. And now we're left in the position that we are in the bottom half of the table and struggling. I think we'll struggle to attract the top end players because we can't promise them Champions League now.
Well, we know that Amanda Stavely had legal issues with some Greek fella. I don't know who it is, but because of that, she had to file for bankruptcy, and then she couldn't be a director of the club. But they could have employed her. The club could have employed her as a CEO, or whatever.
Yeah,
and not have shares in the club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think the club
she had the opportunity at the time. So when the club was bought by PIF, valued at 300 million, the club was bought. She was the financial conduit to that, setting up the deal, making everybody get through the door, getting them interested, showing them projections and where this club could be. Obviously got into the trouble with the other investments that she had. That's what she does. She's a power broker. She was never an expert in the world of football. She sought counsel for that. And because she had bankruptcy, she couldn't be on the board of directors. And to be honest, anything else would have probably been lower than her capability level. I would have loved her to stay, but she had an opportunity to sell those shares in the financial position that she was, having to just pay off that Greek guy. The club was then valued at $1 billion by Bloomberg and Forbes. So I don't blame her for selling them. She's, that their pictures are still in Newcastle United stuff. Mia Dad's with the flag. Amanda's with our scarf on. they're still supporting this club, which is really sad to see. Sad to see the back of them.
Gary Moffat says, if you're bankrupt, you can't be a CEO at any
Correct.
company.
Well, we'll give another title then. Give another title.
Yeah.
You
can still work.
Employer.
Yeah. But obviously, I mean, some people are saying PIF lost interest or lost confidence or lost trust in her. We'll never know. We'll never know. It's just, something has changed. Something has changed at the club. But we'll never know. We'll never know what went on with Amanda. But there has been breaking news tonight that the Manchester City court case is over and done with. It's finished with these 115 charges, but we're not expected to hear the results of that till March. So we've got... I know, it's mental. So we've got to wait till March. I mean, well, some people are saying spring, but it's probably going to be March. And then if one side decides to appeal, you've got another several months of that going on. So Manchester City probably will not be, everyone's expecting them to be relegated, but if they launch an appeal, but I don't understand why it takes 4 months before you can release the findings. Because if it's all done and dusted, I mean, have they found the findings, or do they have to now go away from the court case and discuss it before they come up with the finding? I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Oh, they'll have to get involved with Spurs, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal to discuss punishments. Of course they will.
Yeah.
Of course they will.
Let them know first.
Yeah, the cartel will be dragged on board as well.
Well, they're the ones that have dragged it all. They've been doing it all along, haven't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I just don't understand. March is crazy. I mean, March, again, for Manchester City themselves, they want to know what's going on. But Chris says if City, hang on, I'll get it there in a minute. If City get off with it, we should say, fuck the FFP and spend big. The die will be cast by then.
It's not to do with FFP, is it, as such?
No, I don't think so. I mean, is that why we're waiting for stadium sponsorship, training ground sponsorship, training?
Maybe.
Have we got people lined up? That's the question. It's a possibility, isn't it, that Silverstone's sitting on multi-million-pound deals waiting for the result of this?
Maybe. In which case, they probably if that was the case, if the Premier League had any inkling of that being the case, they'd have delayed it till July the 1st next year when the next PSR thing.
Well, they delayed it till July the 1st, 2057, as long as they possibly bloody could, to be fair.
But after the next PSR, so we wouldn't be able to get any money out of it.
Yeah, good point. Brian H., thank you for your super chat. What a great show, TTR Mint community. Thank you. Carl says, Man City will get away with it. The Premier League will be too worried that they will go off and join the European Super League. Geordie J says that the case is complex and not straightforward. Well, 115 charges, it is very complex, yeah. But, come on, there's people that deal with this day in, day out. 4 months to get a verdict is a little bit strange. Fubar says, Simon Jordan made a good point. There's a first for everything. That the Premier League made a rod for their own back by making 115 charges when it could have been condensed to 4 or 5. Then the timescales would have been shorter.
Well, not just that, they've tried to make something stick, but the problem with that is now you've got to prove 115 counts that everybody knew about fraud at the business who was involved in those transactions. That's what makes it difficult and silly.
Peter Garthwaite, thank you for another super chat. If it was the case that Amanda leaving is what's causing this, we would play badly all the time, not just against the small clubs. Now, I don't think it don't necessarily mean why we're losing games. I think there's something just different with the club, and of course it'll be different. Amanda was a big personality, and she was very much spearheading everything from the takeover. But she's gone now, and other people are in who don't have the same personality as Amanda, so it will be different. Nobody's the same. But I mean, look, it's been a fantastic conversation tonight. Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, Chris is right what he says there about, just seen a comment there from him. Where is it? It's that one there. It's about the PL have teeth. Yes, but we've seen ourselves in recent history, the Premier League's legal team ain't exactly the best in the world.
No.
We all saw the court case with Nick DeMarco and that.
Yeah.
Torn to bits. They didn't have a clue what they were talking about.
Yeah, they honestly, that court case, the Premier League had a broomstick shoved right so far up their backside. Every time they yawned, you could see the end of the stick. It was that far up. It was just unbelievable. But there you go. That is the show done and dusted tonight, guys. I love these shows when we can get into a bit more discussion about various things to do with the club. Nearly 1,300 watching. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday evening. Sam is back tomorrow with the War Lasses show with Aaron, former Lioness, of course, to go over the Lasses win over Middlesbrough, the draw for the next round, and of course the league starting up again after the break. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes. Tune in 8 o'clock.
The game's postponed at the weekend, isn't it? Because they were supposed to be playing on Saturday this time around. But
that's correct.
Yeah. So join Sam and Aaron for that. If there's any news to bring you, keep your eye open for a video from myself. Wednesday night, we're back with a transfer show. So we'll have a look at various players that are linked again and what they could bring to the squad should they sign. Thursday night, we've got the preview, of course, of the Leicester game. Friday, we've got 2 live shows. Press conference reaction at 11 o'clock, and then at 7 TTR Friday and Fan Forum, and then of course Saturday 2:30 is Match Day Live with myself and Billy. So looking forward to that. Plenty to look forward to on the channel. So please do get yourself subscribed if you are new to the channel. I did promise a giveaway tonight. Damn it!
Do one now, quick. Go on.
Do it now.
All right. Right. You talking among yourselves. I'm going to look for a prize.
What we're going to talk about, Sam?
I wonder what he's got to give away.
It'll be something good. It'll be something good.
There's a Nick Pope autograph for, but I'm not doing that.
Hold on to that. Wait till he's in some better form.
Well,
right, I'm giving 2 away tonight.
Send it by punch.
This is to members only, and it's Sir Bobby Robson's autobiography.
Oh, what a read that is, by the way.
Yeah, so that is the first prize tonight. So let me just get my tool up. Oh, that didn't sound good at all. I do apologize. Dear me.
Oh,
Wow. Right, so you do have to be a member for this, guys. So mods, please knock off anybody who that didn't sound right either. Please delete anybody who's not a member. So please have some respect for the members here. This is why we thank them for being members. And all you need to do is put in the comments hashtag Bobby, all in lowercase, hashtag Bobby. BOBBY. So get cracking now, guys. We'll leave it open for a couple of minutes. And shame on those people that have switched off. Shame on them, because they thought the show had ended. It hasn't.
You did kind of make it sound like it was ending, in fairness.
I know, but then I realized that, hey, a promise is a promise to our members. I do feel like, and this is a cracking read, as Billy says, Sir Bobby's autobiography. This is, he wrote 2, didn't he? This one's Farewell, but Not Goodbye.
Both excellent books.
Yeah. So we'll leave it. Jackowitz John, you are not a member. So, the mods are on it. The mods are.
And those, Neil.
Yeah, Jackowitz John keeps trying, but I don't know why. It's a little bit silly trying over and over again. When you know the mods they're on it, like a car bonnet, as they used to say.
I'm
Jonathan
smiling away.
Down, he's put hashtag Nobby and he's not a member.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of sarcasm, Billy.
I just want to shout out LG for bringing the festive cheer. It makes me laugh. Thank you, LG.
Well, Billy's bringing the festive fear every bloody show now with Santa.
I said cheer, not fear.
Well, fair enough. Okay. Right. Let's do the draw. So let me just present, share screen, giveaway tool. There we go. Share. Can we see that?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So here we go. And Bush. The winner of Sir Bobby Robson's autobiography, Farewell But Not Goodbye, is Kevin Moody. Kevin Moody, are you in the chat? That is the question. Is Kevin there?
You are a winner. Now get in the chat. Can you finish your dinner and let us know that you've seen your name?
We know you're there. Come on, Kevin. Yeah, he's there. He's there. Well done, Kevin. You are the winner. But I'm going to surprise you all, guys, because I am about to give his other biography away.
Hey!
An Englishman Abroad. Again, another fantastic read. You don't have to re-enter because we're just going to do the draw again. So if you've already entered, then well done. Because now we give it away again. Kevin, if you can drop me an email, mate, just say Sir Bobby Robson autobiography, gone but not goodbye, because I'll get them mixed up, and that wouldn't be a good thing. In the subject, and then obviously your address in the main body of the email. Right, next winner of the other autobiography is Ricky Ellis. Ricky Ellis, are you there? Get in the chat, Ricky.
Your letter was only the start of it. Not the part of it. Now he's done it. Give him a picture.
Ellis, where are you? Come on, Ricky.
Time's a ticking.
Ricky!
Ricky! He's there. He's there. Ricky's there. So send us an email, Ricky. But you need to send it. And in the subject, put Bobby Robson book, An Englishman Abroad, just so I know which one I'm sending out. Right. I feel like we need to do another one, but this is for everybody, right? So we'll do one for all our viewers now.
The generosity. Get
Indeed.
in.
Bear with me one second.
It's Nick Pope's holding his hand stuff. You in Santa's grotto there, by any chance?
Oh, hey, you have no idea.
Santa's Jolly Grotto.
Don't pull out anything that could be a bit incriminating, for Christ's sake.
Oh.
Right, this is what we'll do for all our viewers. Sir Les Ferdinand.
Wow.
This will be fantastic to go in a picture frame, guys. So all you need to do for this one, if you want to win the Les Ferdinand photo, and remember, this is open to everybody tonight, our final little prize of the night, you need to put Sir Les, hashtag Sir Les, hashtag SIRLES, all lowercase, hashtag Sir Les, get them in the comments, and this is open to everybody. Yes, my sack is full tonight. I'm feeling generous. Come on, get your Sir Les's in. We'll leave it open for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll give this away. That wasn't me that said that, Sam. That actually came in the chat. Oh, that didn't sound... What is going on?
Carry on at the sperm bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Dear God. Anyway, somebody's just put hashtag Bobby. No space between Sir and Les. It's all one word, guys. Hashtag Sir Les is all one word. Do not put a space or you won't be interested. Or you won't be entered. Never mind interested. I won't be interested, but you won't get entered. I'm hungry, guys. It's getting late.
Just do the drone. Have yourself some tea.
I've had a rough day, Sam. I haven't been too well today, so that I'm blaming it on that. We'll leave it open for another minute or so. This is open to everybody, guys. Everybody viewing right now. I beg your pardon?
Someone's put hashtag sirloin.
Sirloin. Crin, what are you doing?
Love that.
Got to raise the stakes, Crin, haven't you, mate?
You have to see what you did there, Billy. But
yeah.
He's here all week. Give
me a kick of the rump.
Sam, while the entries are coming in, what's to look forward to on tomorrow night's Warlasses show?
Oh, well, we've got the review, of course, of the Middlesbrough match, which will be a really good one. The past few reviews that we've been doing off the back of not so great results. So, it'll be great to talk about some good stuff. We have got the general football news. We always bring you a bit about the Lionesses, how they are doing, about our internationals from the Lasses squad. So we've got the updates there. Injury news, returning news. We'll do the full match review, any commentary that Becky said afterwards as well. And then we'll talk about the next game. We review the table. We look at the cup. Got it all, man. Just got it all.
What about the girl that's at Barcelona, the goalkeeper? You going to do anything about her? The one that had the stroke?
I couldn't hear you there, Billy. Sorry, my connection's going.
Is it something Roebuck? Is she a Barcelona goalkeeper? She had a stroke and she was out the game for a year or something. Now she's played her first game back.
Oh, and she's returned back. Yeah. I mean,
Roebuck.
Yeah, that's the one. There's been a few actually, a few like big name like people needing like serious attention. But we spoke about that. We're actually going to do a bit about injuries in the women's game soon. We're trying to get a special guest on for that. So watch this space. Obviously, typically women get impacted worse by ACLs, which are damning anyway to anybody's career. But women do feel it more so. So yeah, it's an interesting subject, women's injuries. So we'll keep you up to date with that.
Right, let's do the draw. Here we go. So we got over 100 entries for this one, and here we go. And the winner of the Sir Les Ferdinand photo signed by the great man is John Green. John Green, get in the chat as quick as you can. Let me know you're there, John. You are a winner, chicken dinner. John Green. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There he is. Well done, John. Send me an email, please. Subject Sir Les photo and your address in the body of the email, and I'll get that out to you. Well done. More prizes coming up later on in the week, guys. I have got sackfuls here, which we need to give away. We've got a little bit of Toon Review merchandise left over from when we used to sell it. We've got some more books to give away, loads of photos to put in frames for your loved ones for Christmas as well. But you have to be a member, guys. Get in there, sign up to the membership, support the channel that way, and we will reward you, so to speak, with lots of chances to win some prizes as a thank you. But that's it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for your super chats, memberships, etc. Mods, thank you. You've been brilliant as usual. Thank you to Lady Sam and, of course, Billy Bob. And we will see you back very soon. In the meantime, thanks again to Mamaroo Records for the sponsorship. If you can't get in to see them at Whitley Bay, check out the website. It's pinned at the top of the description. And also our sister channel, TTR Xtra, the home of football. And that's everything away from Newcastle United. Get yourself subscribed to that channel as well. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening, folks. Good night.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out some green.